and welcome. This session is mostly going to be focused on a Q&A for our month's topic, which is posture and core. As always, let us know in the chat where you are joining in from. Thanks so much for taking time to join us. So as I mentioned earlier, our topic of the day today is posture and core. Darlene says, I love these exercises. It seems to help with balance and strengthening. Yes, Darlene, that's such a great point. Core-based exercises will help with so many things. It, of course, is going to improve your core strength, but it significantly can help with balance, with walking, with hip strength even, strengthening, yeah. So many things. I think I was telling you guys about this last time, but I was working with one of my missing link members on core-based exercises, and after doing them consistently, she noticed that her bowel and bladder movements were easier and less labored, and her breathing was even better, just from improving her core strength. We weren't even focusing on breathing or bowel and bladder. So the power of a strong core is really, really powerful. How to hold or any core without neck pain. So it depends what you're doing, but generally speaking, you want to make sure that your neck is in a good alignment. Most of us, I would even say all of us, but I don't know about all of us, most of us sit a lot throughout the day. Whether you have a computer in front of you, a tablet, a phone, a TV, we tend, let me move my screen a little, we tend to slouch like this, and I'm going to exaggerate, but our neck comes way forward. So this becomes more of our natural position, even if it's not as exaggerated and it's just like that. So it's going to be more uncomfortable to do core exercises with your neck forward like this. So the first thing you should do before you even focus on the core is focus on this exercise called chin tucks. This is one we reviewed last time, where you sit up tall and you bring your chin backwards, almost like you're trying to give yourself a double chin. So your face doesn't look down at all or up. You're just trying to push your face backwards. And what this does is it strengthens these muscles in the back part of our neck. And relax. So this is called a chin tuck. So you're pushing your chin, you're pushing your face back and your chin down slightly. Now, you don't want to do this with 100% of your strength. If you do this with all of your strength, it can actually be pretty uncomfortable for the upper back part of your neck. So don't do that. I would say at most 80% of your strength, but I usually like to do about 50% of my strength. It doesn't need to be this big, forceful movement. So again, you're just in good posture and chin tuck. And relax. If I'm really prone to headaches from bad posture, so I can always feel a headache coming on if I've been slouching like this for too much. So I try to, anytime I feel that coming on, I just do a chin tuck and I try to hold it for as long as I can as I'm typing an email back to my missing link member, or as I'm making an Instagram reel or YouTube video, whatever it is. I try to do it with good posture. So it all stems from the neck. So when to use your core, this is another thing. I could give you a full plan that would give you the perfect core, good strength in the abdominals and the sides and the back and the glutes and all the great stuff we want. But we should always be activating the core. So we should be using our core muscles when we get in and out of the car, when we're getting in and out of bed, when we're maneuvering in our chair, just shifting our weight forward, backwards, scooting. If we're repositioning ourselves to stand up, strengthening our core, of course, like as you're doing your core exercises, putting on shoes and socks and pants, walking, getting in and out of the shower, getting dressed, pushing a door closed, opening a door, especially if they're heavy. These are times where we should be engaging our core. And when we're younger, our core engages automatically, but somewhere along the way, when you don't use it, you lose it and it stops activating. So it's important that, yes, we give you exercises to strengthen your core, but also that you are thinking about activating your core throughout the day. See another question come in. So this question says, it's hard to keep good posture because it requires bracing when, sorry, let me back up. It's hard work to keep good posture because it requires bracing when standing or sitting watching TV. Will it ever become a natural thing? So if you just started bracing, it's gonna feel like hard work. It is hard work. Bracing, and this is the first exercise, so we'll actually review it right now. I'll stop sharing my screen. Let me get out of there. There we go. So bracing is very challenging at first. We are not used to bracing. Bracing uses the deepest layer of abdominal muscle, meaning you take away the abs that would give you a six-pack abs. You take away the obliques. You take away all the layers of abs. The last one that's there is bracing. And because it's the deepest layer, that's the reason that it can help reduce low back pain, but it's also the reason that it's hard to activate because you have so many layers of muscle on top that want to work first, that are easier to activate. So when you try to brace, those outer muscles are going to work first. So bracing should be challenging. Anytime someone who has not done bracing before, anytime they tell me it's easy, or that it doesn't seem challenging for them, my first thought is, I don't think they're doing it right. And sometimes they are doing it right. But for the most part, if it feels easy and you've never done it before, you're probably not doing it right. It takes a lot of focus. So yes, Pam, this is a long-winded answer of it should be challenging, but it does get easier. It does get easier. There's different positions to do it in. Because we're here in this setting right now, I just showed it to you guys seated. I actually prefer starting it in a lying down position and then advancing to seated against the back of my chair, and then seated without the support of the back of the chair, and then standing against a wall bracing, and then standing in the middle of a room bracing, and then standing and bracing while you're picking something up from the floor. So it's this whole progression that you cannot continue on until you understand what it is, until you feel the correct muscle tightening. So it will get easier, I promise you, but it takes a while. It'll probably take a few months of doing this consistently. At least that's how long it took me. Let's review the bracing exercise. So this one is the one that if I were to give all of my clients one exercise to do to improve their mobility, reduce low back pain, and improve posture, the first exercise I would give them is bracing. But it's really hard to do when you don't exactly know what it is, because usually you'll just kind of tighten your core. So I'm going to scoot back, and actually I'm going to switch chairs as well, and I'll show you guys. Hopefully this is a review for guys, meaning you were on our call last time. Let me move this up. Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. So if you can see, so we should all be sitting towards the back part of our chair. Now I'm going to arch my back. I'm excessively exaggerating this on purpose. So you'll see that there's a space here. Like if I want it, I can move my hand to this side. So there's many different ways to think about bracing. What helps me brace best is thinking about flattening my back, including the small of my back, into the chair. I'm not using my feet. I'm not pushing myself back. I'm just using my abdominal muscle to flatten my back so that I cannot scoop my hand through at all. So for me, when I do that, I'm gonna face you guys now. When I do that, this is where my belly button is. When I do that, I feel beneath my belly button, about an inch below, horizontally. This is the muscle that I feel tightening and flexing. Nothing up here, not where six-pack abs would be or anything like that. Low. That's where you should feel it. One really cool exercise that you can do, I want everyone, I know I can't see you, I'm just gonna assume that you're doing this with me. So put your hand up like this. So just floppy, not doing anything. And with this hand, I want your one finger to poke here. And it should feel squishy, right? So we're not doing anything with our hand. So it should feel squishy. Now make a fist, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now poke. It's still skin on the outside. It's still squishy on the outside, but it feels tight underneath. So now relax, poke, fist, poke, and you'll feel the difference. So that's the same as down here. If you're not bracing, it should just feel squishy. If you do brace, it should feel squishy on the outside, but tightness underneath. So that's what helps me think about it the best, is flattening my low back into the back of the chair, and I feel it here. But another way that you can think about this is using your belly muscles, your abdominals, to pull your belly button in towards your spine. And that's not the same as just like sucking in. It's different than that. So use your abs to pull your belly button in. Another way to think about it, use your ab muscles to pull your belly button in towards your spine, then up. Someone earlier said lifting up is what helped her. There's no right or wrong, as long as you're feeling it in the right area. So that is the bracing exercise. And as you can tell, it's a very small movement. Most of the time, just move that down. Most of the time, when my clients are doing that exercise, they'll ask me, Dr. Gretchen, am I doing it right? And honestly, I can't tell just from visually looking. I can put 1 or 2 or 3 fingers on their lower abdominals and see if I feel it tighten. But my first response to them is, where are you feeling it? And if you tell me that you're feeling it where I just suggested that you should feel it, then I'm going to assume you're doing it correctly. You will not feel it there if you're doing it incorrectly, right? Did I say that right? If you're doing it correctly, you will feel it there. If you're doing it incorrectly, you'll feel it higher up or anywhere belly button and above. So that's how you do that bracing exercise. And again, that's a seated position. Some people think seated against the back of a chair is easiest. I like to do it lying on the floor or a bed or a couch or something first, just because gravity is helping you. Gravity is pushing your belly button, oh my gosh, belly muscles down towards your spine anyways. So I like starting in that position, but that's what the bracing exercise is. So hinging happens when so picture me sitting up tall or standing up tall. If I'm hinging forward, that happens for 2 reasons. Number one, it means the muscles on the front of my thighs. So if I'm hinging, it means these muscles are too tight and these muscles are too weak. These muscles. So you want to stretch the front part, stretch out these hip flexors, and tighten the glutes and the hamstrings to pull you up this way. So there's lots of exercise that you can do. Kimberly, I think you are in the missing link. There's tons of exercise for them in there, but that's what you'd want to do, is stretch the hip flexors and then strengthen the backside, the glutes and the hamstrings. Can sitting on a balance cushion help to strengthen the core? Yeah, so one of my missing link members just got a balance cushion. There's one called, I think it's called the, oh shoot, what is it called? Dynadisc. So it looks like they're about $38 or so. So I don't know if this is what Dion or Dee is talking about, but this is what a Dynadisc is, and you can put your feet on it or you can sit on it. So a lot of my clients will put this on their chair and sit on this. So yes, anyways, that is something that can help strengthen your core. The reason that it strengthens it, oh, there's a kid sitting on it. Adults can sit on it too, but that's kind of what you do, but both feet would be on the ground. So the reason that it strengthens your core is because you're on an uneven surface. So your abdominals and your sides and your back have to work in order to keep you stable. Because if you start leaning one way or putting more body weight on one side or the other, then you're going to lose your balance. So yes, that's a good option. Recently, I've been experiencing weakness in my knee and behind my knee, which causes my leg to buckle from time to time. Are there any special exercises to help build strength in front and behind the knee? So this kind of goes hand in hand with core exercises, because again, the stronger your core is, the better control you'll have in your hips, your knees, and your ankles. But with that said, this is going to sound might sound too simplistic, but the best thing that you can do if your knees are either buckling or locking or hyperextending is practice standing with your feet about shoulder distance apart and knees slightly bent. so slight that someone else might look at you and think that your knees are locked or extended, but you can tell that they're not locked, they are slightly bent. Just stand there. How long can you stand in good posture with activating your core in that position for? If you have weakness in the front or back of your thighs around your knee, you will feel that and your legs might start to shake a little bit, and then you can stop and relax and then get back to it. But that is doing two things. It's strengthening the muscles on the front and the back, but it's also training your brain that you want your muscles, you want your knees to be able to have strength and balance when they're not locked and when they're not buckling. So that's the first step of the exercise. Once you're good at that, then you can work on shifting your body weight from side to side without your knees buckling or locking. Shift your weight front and back without your knees buckling and locking. So all these exercises have a progression, but where you'd start is just standing, knees slightly bent, stay with good posture. How long can you stand for? And just so you know, for educational purposes, the muscles on the front of your thighs that wrap around your knee, that control the knee, are the quad muscles. So you're doing quad strengthening. And then the muscles on the back of your knee are the hamstrings. So you'd be strengthening the hamstrings as well as the quads in that case. You guys are so sweet. I see all you guys saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you next time.